tip for 2021 is be more Angel Gabriel. And what I mean by that is if you've got staff in your business or you work with outsourced services, you need to articulate a really clear vision, and get them all on board with that. And then you need to give direction by setting measurable objectives, be it the stables in Bethlehem by the 25th of December, and then let them get on with it and find their own way there so they can use their innovation and creativity to achieve your business goals. So I hope you find your wings in 2021.
Very good.
Very good. Okay, who wants to follow that? Let's go Nick Hughes, because I know you've got something.
I knew you were going to do that. I knew I to follow Jane.
At least
Right.
it's a thing.
Here we go. Well done, Jane. Thank you. So Christmas is a time of fantasy and child's play, but how much of a fantasy is your current pipeline of new business for 2021? Let me tell you, probably 50% of it is just fancy. It's just fantasy. So my top tip for 21 is just stop. Stop being the prancer or the dancer. Change from being the Cupid or a vixen. Don't be a Donna or a comet. Get dashing and a blitzing on that pipeline. Be bold, be honest, and lead like Rudolph from the front from 2021.
Excellent. Thank you, Nick. The standard has been set. So let's go to Joe Spencer.
Thank you, Mike. Well, I have no Christmas references whatsoever, so I'm going to put my hat back on. That's as Christmassy as it gets. So I don't know about you, but I like to work things out for myself. The work I do is involved with solving problems and coming up with solutions. That's just the way my brain is wired. And whilst I like the process of learning and I like that feeling of accomplishment, sometimes I can be so stubborn that the whole process is actually quite detrimental. Hours wasted, no further forward, and generally feeling frustrated and cross. I've learned over the past few years that it's actually really quite good to ask for help. So whether it's work related, I don't know, trying to edit an image or do something clever in a spreadsheet, or maybe something more personal. A quick phone call can provide an instant solution or a path to a solution. So my Christmas tip is don't be a stubborn numpty, ask for help.
Nice, Joe. Thanks very much. Sarah Southey.
Right, so I'm sure you're expecting lots of fitness tips here. It's not going to happen. My motivational tip for 2021 is do different. So 2020 has been the year of enforced change. Words like social distance, unprecedented, and pivot, my personal favourite, have become commonplace. COVID-19 has forced all of us to change in one way or another and to make our work and home lives as safe and as functional as possible. Survival has been our driving force, not the most inspiring or exciting of reasons to do anything. A lot of the fun has gone out of our daily actions due to this fear state that we're in and the restrictions imposed upon us. Our lives have become repetitive and a bit like Groundhog Day. So in 2021, do different. Focus on the fun. Look at your personal, family and work goals and dreams and find the one thing that excites you and looks like fun to achieve. Something that takes you out of that fear comfort zone that we've all become so used to in 2020. Make a short list that gets you looking forward and smiling, no matter how left field it is, no matter how silly, and then decide on the one action that you will take to move you closer to achieving it, and then do it. So let 2021 be the year we focus on living, thriving, and having fun. Let 2021 be the year we choose what our different will be.
Thanks, Sarah. Richard Hayes.
Top tips. It's been a tough year for families, a very tough year. And my top tip this year is for you all to start thinking about yourselves, your families, and really taking the time to understand each other. And one of the things I think is going to be really quite important this Christmas is the time you have with your families and how to use it, how to open up conversations. And one of the things I've come across is a thing called a memory box. Now, a memory box is something you can create yourself, but if you go onto the Macmillan cancer research websites, you'll find memory boxes and tips on how to set them up. They can be really useful things if you're talking about your family, about things that are going on in your family. Of course, the things that we do, but that's not so important. But if you can get your parents talking to your children, or you talking to your parents, which is quite a difficult thing, you just need a lever to make that happen. And a memory box is an ideal thing to start that conversation. Another thing, perhaps think about creating a family tree. Do you talk to your parents, about their grandparents, about their aunts, their uncles, etc.? Bring the family closer together by getting them involved in understanding where they came from and what they're all about. And as part of that, that conversation may become difficult. But as Mr. Rogers said in It's a Lovely Day in the Neighbourhood, if it's mentionable, it's manageable. Don't be afraid of it. Open the conversations. You'll be surprised at what you hear, and there may be some really pleasant surprises in there. So, important tip, talk to your families, open those conversations up. Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Thanks, Richard. Lisa Hollander, please.
Yes, I'm afraid I haven't done a Christmassy theme either, or slides this time. I just wanted to say, remember the law of attraction. We're all massive magnets, and we can attract business opportunities by continuing to show up and having courage, even when we'd rather hide under the covers. So try to take all eyes off you by remembering your family, friends, and customers need you, your skill, support, and time. They just may not know it yet.
Thank you, Lisa. Josh Cox, please.
Hi all, I'm talking about improving your present this Christmas. Now, I'm not talking about buying the latest Xbox game or iPad for your niece or nephew. I'm talking about your online presence and what you can do. So if you haven't already, get a Google My Business page. They're free, they take 5 minutes to set up and do wonders for your local search visibility. So you'll appear in the map section when people search for your business, for instance, web designers in Didcot, as well as prove to Google that you are a real business. I mean, if your business already has one, fantastic. But think about what you can do to optimize it. Do you have photos on there of your business or service or your team? Are you collecting reviews? Have you added a description? They're all different bits and pieces that you can do to elevate your profile on the biggest search engine around. So yeah, keep up your presence this Christmas.
Very good, nice play on words. Jill Nichols, please.
So my tip's really boring, but very practical. So my tip is for everyone to check your passports, because if you're planning to travel in the EU from January, you will need at least 6 months validity now remaining on that passport. However, the EU only count 10 years maximum from the date of issue. So if you do have any extra months added on, they will not count towards that 6 months validity that's required. So everybody check their passports for 2021. That's my tip.
Thank you, Jill. Ian Roberts.
Thanks, Mike. Mine isn't about cash flow that you might expect. I do that all year round, but I wanted to give you some thoughts. I work and have worked this year with lots of owners of later ages, actually. One chap, 75 years of age, wants to stop his business now because he wants to enjoy himself at 75 years old. My tip for you is, what makes you think that tomorrow isn't your last day? No one I've ever spoke to or has been ill or died ever said to me that I wish I'd spent more time in the office. I'd worried more about my business. They don't. They wish they'd spent more time with their families. They wish they'd spent more time enjoying themselves, and they'd also spent more time doing the things that they love, that make their heart sing. We don't always do that. We spend time worrying about our businesses, worrying about the money, we worry about all these other things. You've got to remember COVID this year has brought a stop to quite a lot of our things that we like to do, and that I would hope would highlight to you that live today like it was your last day, because it might well be. So my tip is don't carry on worrying every day about your business, worrying about all the money that's going to come in, worrying about being in the office all day long and evening as at weekends. Actually enjoy your life whilst you still can. So that is my tip for this year. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Ian. Sarah Fletcher.
Hi, for 2021, I would like you to give yourself the gift of saying no. And this is sparked by an email I received recently from someone who inquired to work with me nearly 2 years ago. They told me that their current social media person was moving on, and would I be interested in taking it over from January? Now, from my point, this was fascinating, because the point that we left it at nearly 2 years ago was that we agreed we weren't suited to work together because we had different communication and working styles. Maybe they have a different memory of it, I don't know. Now, it was really tempting to contemplate it. They're a very well-known figure in their niche. It's always flattering when someone says they want to work with you. And in all honesty, like a lot of you this year, I'm making up a shortfall for business going a bit random earlier in the year. So the money is always nice, but it just threw up massive red flags. And I replied with a very courteous, "Thank you, but no thank you. I am not the best person for you." It would have been a waste of both of our times. Now, there's a time where I would have overridden that gut instinct, and I still would have invested time having a phone call with them. And if they'd really wanted to work with me, I probably would have signed them up as a client and then spent the next few months regretting it because we're not suited. So it's more than okay to say no. Do you deserve to choose your customers like your customers get to choose you.
Sir, Ben Thompson.
Thank you, Mike. My point is continue to help your staff progress. With such uncertainty in the world and such a challenging year, it is only natural for us all to worry as business owners, but your employees are no different. It is so important that your staff have something to work towards. They feel that they're improving, and in such an uncertain world, they feel that they have that golden light to work towards. Can you give them some added responsibility? In less busy times, what could they do with that extra time? It's so much better for them to be working really hard for 6 hours a day and working on their development for an hour and a half a day than be average level of work for 7.5. How can that promotion look? What are they working towards? And how can you help them to be the best version they can be of themselves? Merry Christmas, everybody.
Thanks, Ben. And for our 12th tip, Gary Hamilton.
I'll say the accountants again. Okay, so Christmas is a time for giving. So it's time to give yourselves an early Christmas present this year. Whether you're an employee, self-employed or director of a limited company, you should and you must be claiming working from home allowances. So if you're an employee and your employer has told you to work from home in this current tax year for at least one day, you can claim £312 off your taxable income. If you're a basic rate taxpayer, that's 60 quid a year. If you're higher rate, it could be £120 a year. Very simple process, quick online form of HMRC, and they'll adjust your tax code. If you're self-employed or a director of a company, things get a little bit more fruity, and you can claim for things like gas, electric, broadband, council tax, mortgage interest. Typically, you'll get a lot higher figure back from HMRC. So if you're interested, drop me a LinkedIn message. Merry Christmas.
Thanks, Gary. And thank you to the members for sharing those valuable tips. Thank you for taking the time to consider those tips, but also to share them. And it shows the wisdom that we have in the group, the expertise we have in the group. So thank you, everybody, for sharing your tips. And if we can perhaps show our appreciation with a round of applause for all those that gave their tips. Thank you very much.